What's up, guys? We're gonna be watching one from Chilling Scares. I like myself a good mystery, so this is Obscure Internet Mysteries. Let's see if it's spooky.
I feel like there's something on my
Persistent
glass.
Trip. On August 14, 2012, a user named Amos No More uploaded a video titled Persistent Trip, Datura. The video, just over 2 minutes long, shows a young man in disarray alone in his room talking directly into the camera. He opens by giving the recording date, March 5th, 2008, and immediately begins recounting a disturbing experience with a hallucinogenic drug. According to him, he's been stuck in an unending trip for over 2 months by the time this footage was recorded, and he claims his symptoms haven't shown any signs of improvement.
It's March 5th, 2008. Don't seem to be...
I wonder if you could die from tripping that long, or like your brain thinks that you're tripping that long.
Probably stress.
You think so? Yeah, like stress, but with like anxiety. What, you have like a heart attack or something?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Coming down. It's been about 2 months.
Sorry. What if it was just like 2 hours, but it just feels like it's been 2 months for him, you know?
That's true.
Like he's just
it depends
tripping
what
right
he
now?
took too.
That's true.
It says psychedelic.
Probably.
Can't really go out. Been spending a lot of time in the basement. I don't think it's wearing off. I don't really know.
He explains he followed instructions from a book precisely, yet has no idea how to escape this nightmare. But it's not just the contents of this video that are unsettling, it's how the video came to be uploaded that makes it all the more eerie. The video's description reads, "This video was uploaded to YouTube several years ago and I haven't been able to find it recently. As I recall, the uploader claimed it was found footage. He said he found a tape on a park bench or something and was concerned about the person depicted therein." And just a few months later, another user by the name of Dizzy Duck uploaded the same video in December of 2012 with the title Endless Trip Video. The description of this second upload more or less aligns with what was mentioned in the first description, with the added information that the original footage was supposedly found somewhere in Philadelphia. Dizzy Duck also points out something disturbing, what looks like a revolver or some kind of gun on the shelf behind the man's left shoulder. Unfortunately, the resolution of both of these uploads is too low for me to identify it as a gun with certainty. But if it is, this would give this already cryptic video a very dark undertone. What really gets me though is the mystery surrounding it. Despite supposedly being over 14 years old and having over 400,000 views on one of its re-uploads, there's almost no credible information out there. The only other reference I found is this Reddit thread on r/videos from 11 years ago. However, even the original poster of this thread has since deleted their account. So, what's the deal with this video? Is it real or just an elaborate hoax? First, let's assume that all the known details surrounding the video are real, from what the person in the video is saying to what's mentioned in the description. The person in the video is clearly very stressed out, and while he's not going crazy in the traditional sense, his body language...
And how would you find this on a park bench? Like, I know this is back then. That version was supposedly uploaded 2012, but I mean, it doesn't look like he's using a camcorder. Even if it had like the newer like mini DV tapes, you know. Does that make sense? Like, how do you find that on a park bench? I guess if you found like a USB drive or like a burn like video CD
drive, camcorder.
I know, but they're trying to make it sound like it's like a...
Like old, like 80s, 90s,
yeah. I found this old creepy tape.
Refusal to make eye contact with the camera and overall demeanor shows that he clearly wasn't 100% there when recording.
I think I boiled the roots right. I did what it said in the book.
I need to know tripping how.
What do you mean?
I need to know how. Let me see. Is he gonna explain like how he's tripping? Like what's he seeing or doing? Play. I want to see if he says it.
ever gonna come down. And it's not cool.
Amos, in his re-upload, suggests the substance causing this bad trip might be datura, a highly toxic plant that can act as a hallucinogen in small doses.
Oh.
However, this is likely not
That's
the
the
case
name.
for two major reasons. For starters, datura is a deliriant with the disturbing nickname of Devil's Trumpets. This is because the trips caused by datura are extremely painful and often lead to bizarre and violent behavior. The person who recorded this video is far too composed to be under the influence of such a strong substance. Secondly, he also
And if it leads to violent behavior, and he's been on a constant 2-month spree of it, where's the violence? You know?
True. I don't know. I'm trying to. I don't know.
I don't think it's been 2 months.
Probably thinks it's been 2 months.
He probably just feels like it.
Kind of like when you got high for the very first time, you were kind of like tripping out because you were like, wait, did I do this? And you're like, wait, I don't remember doing this.
Yeah, I was tripping.
Yeah, kind of like sometimes.
It's a new feeling. You never felt it before. So.
Because you're like, or it kind of like even when you're just going into the kitchen to get water because you're thirsty.
And you're like, how did I get here?
Yeah, and then you're like, wait, what did I come in here for? And then you leave, you go back in the room, and you're like, why was I in the kitchen? How long was I in there for? And then you like go back and you're like, damn, what was I gonna get? And it's like, oh yeah, I was gonna get water. And then you like you just keep going back and forth, and you're just like, I'm gonna just sit down. Like this shit's too much.
It's better just to sit and eat something, watch something, or something.
Yeah, just go to bed.
Definitely no be in a casino.
Don't go do it at a casino. Those rugs are.
Boiling some roots to prepare whatever drug he took. Datura, on the other hand, is usually consumed through its leaves or seeds, not the roots. I think a more likely substance he could have used is ayahuasca, which is traditionally made by boiling roots and has effects mild enough that someone could record a video while under its influence. However, regardless of whichever drug he used, tripping for 2 straight months is simply not possible, and here's why. Almost all drugs wear off as soon as they're metabolized or leave the body. Then there's also the question that if he's been down in the basement for 2 months, how is he getting food or making money? Considering these signs, it's likely that he was tripping, but not for 2 months, just a few hours. Many people in the comments of the original video have pointed to the phenomenon where a trip feels like it lasted for way longer than it actually did. Though another likely explanation could be mental illness as well. There is a high likelihood that whichever substance he used caused brain damage and led to schizophrenia, making him unable to tell reality from hallucination. There's also the possibility of hallucinogen persisting perception disorder, which causes a person to experience visual effects that last long after the drug is worn off. However, those effects are usually more like static or blurriness, not full-blown trips. Even so, all of this depends on the assumption that available information surrounding this mystery is true. For all we know, this could be nothing more than a hoax, especially since the mention of this being found footage sounds rather fishy. This whole thing could have been created by the uploader Amos No More for Internet Cloud. Dizzy Duck's re-upload could be just another move by Amos to build on the found footage storyline. But it's been over 12 years since this upload, and he hasn't done any follow-ups to capitalize on the few 100,000 views it's received. Of course, there's also a middle ground theory. Maybe the original video was real and the guy in it genuinely thought he was tripping for 2 months. Amos might have stumbled across the initial post before it disappeared and then decided to create a hoax based on it. Unfortunately, given the sparse amount of information I found, it's impossible to nail down the truth. In the off chance everything was real, I hope the person in the video found the help he needed and is doing much better today. Poorly Planned Comics. Poorly Planned Comics was a series of webcomics by a person named Jack Masters. And while the original website has long been taken down from the internet, there are still archives capturing how it looked back then. As I went through these archives, the first thing that hit me was the surreal art style and the constant fourth wall breaking humor. Even in the very first comic on the website, the characters joke about the camera being zoomed in too close. And this was only the beginning. Over the course of their run, Jack published hundreds of comics featuring countless unique characters and mind-bending, maze-like storylines. The contents of these comics also ranged from bizarre to downright disturbing. Like this one comic titled, "The Entire Universe Falls."
It's gonna give me flashbacks to the last video.
Why?
With the weird comics, remember?
Apart. In it, the characters slowly realize that their universe isn't real, causing everything around them to collapse. Panels break down, dialogue turns into nonsense, and nothing makes sense anymore. The comic ends with one of the characters stating, "Alright, I give up. It was all a dream, it was all a dream." However, sandwiched between all this mysterious and chaotic artwork, there's a moment of pause where Jack includes something extremely introspective and philosophical. It reads, "The sad and obvious truth of the matter is that art, once formalized or mechanized, is no longer art, and the few arts that have not been formalized are now being mechanized. There is no mystery or talent required to create artistic beauty. And if a talentless person can do it, why should we give any regard to those who require talent to produce the same result? John may spend a week painting a tree, but Jane will take a photograph and then use a workshop program to make the picture appear painted. There is no visual art creation before the last century that modern technology would not have."
This video is speaking to us right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Kind of like he made this video and then we're like reacting to it. So it's like a...
Yeah, but we have videos. I'm working on something.
I know.
I got a presentation coming.
I know,
We got
I know.
other stuff going on too. But it is the holidays, so it's like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, we're gonna do our fun segments too, like our games and all that we have planned.
Mm-hmm.
Probably,
It's just filming it. But
yeah, because
we haven't planned, but yeah.
we have so much planned. It's just a matter of timing, and then
Because we both work, so...
wanting to have the house to ourselves too, so we're not interrupted.
allowed a less talented person to make better and faster. Let us be realistic and assume this trend will continue. There is nothing we can do to avoid the solemn fact that Michelangelos are no longer needed. These
kinda
kinds of
true.
intellectual
Okay, wait,
reflections
wait,
were
wait.
sprinkled throughout his
Oh my lord.
comics.
What?
No, wait, because you mentioned us versus like like them. Like it's crazy with AI now. It's like commercials, like AI. Like we saw the guy on a work thing, remember, and it said you could use Microsoft like intelligence. So like at work you could use AI, and then it's like other places too. They're like
Or like people are using AI for their videos.
videos, like just typing something in, and then the AI is making their video with the voices and the editing and the, a lot of people are pushing that too,
Yeah.
like for TikTok.
Because at least we're still doing something to a degree, right? Like some people are just like either putting like their little character on the corner now for like reaction videos, or like or like you said, the AI content where it's just like they use ChatGPT or something to make a script, and then they just like shit out a bunch of like shorts with like random like factoids.
I think the ones that annoy me the most are when they just have their little emoji sticker like in the back, like what, or like laughing.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
surprise
oh my
face,
god.
yeah.
I'm like, unlike that video. But I think
I
that
make sure not to like those.
I think the ones that annoy me the most are the ones that go like, in this video, you will see this dog jump on the couch and fall. Let's take a look. And it's like the dog jumps on the couch and falls. Like they're narrating what's
yeah, but
gonna happen.
they're just trying to transform it enough.
No,
like,
you're explaining
I know.
exactly what's gonna happen, like right when it's gonna happen.
That's
Like, I
true.
didn't need your sentence. It's like when you're trying to just make an essay longer by just adding bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
However, the creation of these comics was abruptly cut short when Jack posted a strip simply titled "The End." This was a final note from Jack before he ended his life, starting with the statement, "If you are reading this, I am dead." The rest of the comic listed his will for his various possessions, both physical and digital. Below the comic, there was also a personal reminder Jack had left for himself listing
be
things
me.
he needed to do. However,
Watch, go
the
back.
most mysterious part of the
What?
comic was this. Personal reminder Jack had left
A little more back.
his
Okay,
life,
hold
starting
on.
with the statement, "If you
Hold
are
on.
reading this, I am dead." The rest of the comic listed his will for his
Pause.
various...
With one exception, I leave my house, my debt, and all my material possessions to my family for them to divide as they see fit. They've been inclined to fight, and in any case, there's little worth fighting over, even in terms of sentimental value. Okay, no. Just because when he mentioned, like, his, like, my debts and all my material possessions, like, that would be in part of my, like, thing, too.
What? Like leaving your...
Like, I would leave my house and all that, but, like, I would make it known, like, okay, there's also, like, here's my debt, too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
and then like all my material possessions. Although I would be like, you better not throw any of my stuff away.
Better cherish it.
Cherish it. Keep everything.
Mm-hmm.
Possessions, both physical and digital. Below the comic, there was also a personal reminder Jack had left for himself listing things he needed to do. However, the most mysterious part of the comic was this. A link that explained why Jack did this. Clicking on this link led to an archive of thousands of emails between Jack and various people, including friends and what seemed like an online therapist. These emails are in no particular order and have absolutely zero organization. So, as you might imagine, going through them is a long and arduous task. Unlike other internet mysteries where there's barely any information, here there's almost too much, more than any one person could easily go through. I went through as much as I could, and one thing became extremely clear. Jack was struggling with severe mental illness. That much was already clear from his comics, but going through these emails gave me a good idea of the exact illness Jack was dealing with. For starters, Jack had extreme schizophrenia, which led him to having extremely violent and disturbing thoughts. In one of his emails, he stated, "I'm full of seething, boiling hatred pain, and the only reason I'm not going out killing people right now is that I'm lucid enough not to want to deal with the consequences of such behavior." In addition to this, Jack also had dissociative identity disorder, or DID for short. This is evident from his constant mentions of a person named Susie, which he referred to as his best friend and better companion than no one. But I'm certain Susie is not a real person because in one email, Jack mentions how he feels something slipping away and Susie taking control. In another email, he also linked to a clip of the character Ben Chang from the TV show Community, where Ben Chang talks to his alternate personality. Jack also used the name Simon Sane in these emails. Looking up this name online, I found a YouTube channel with a 4+ hour stream of him talking to himself in 2 different voices while tripping on LSD.
Don't do it. That's my advice to everyone. Don't be polite.
I think there may be an overgeneralization.
Well, whatever. Okay, so...
This theory of Jack's complex
That's
mental
crazy,
state
huh?
was pretty much confirmed by the comment that first brought this mystery to light in the first place.
It's
But like
crazy.
sad a
December
bit, you know, because
2000
obviously they can't. That's just how some people are born or like
Our
wired,
human brain is so fucking crazy though, because or like just our body in general. Like you could outgrow an allergy, you could develop one in the future. You can get like Alzheimer's and all that like early on in your life. Like early, you know?
And supposedly we
Dementia.
only use 10%, right?
Yeah, and then like you could develop like schizophrenia. You could like all these stuff. It's just crazy because I don't think it's really understood in a sense of like what's going, you know, because I feel like why I say it's not really fully understood is because it's like there's no cure for it. I feel like when something's fully completely understood when it comes to like medical stuff, it's when there's like a cure for it or something that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they have like the solution for it.
Yeah, because it's like you completely 100% understand it. Like cancer, it's not understood yet. Like they don't know, so they can't, you know, do that. Although I do know with Elon Musk's like Neuralink one, like I know that's supposed to help people with, like
Isn't it supposed to be able to do a lot?
yeah, like help people that have like schizophrenia, people who even I think who are like can't walk or whatever, because you know it's like all your nerves aren't connected to.
Yeah, like your physical parts.
Yeah, so then it's
To
like
control
supposed
that.
to help that, which I won't lie, it's very, you know, that'd be very helpful, and that's a big advancement in like I would say medical field in a
Yeah.
sense, but technology in general, it's just one of those things where you're kind of like, I know when I read about it though, back then it's like what they're worried about is the wires being connected to like the nerves, like it would be hard to remove, possibly with like you would die. Because I think all the animals I tested on, I think it was like pigs or sheep, they like passed away when they would try to like remove it, or like they passed
so it
away.
just has to stay in you.
Yeah, but then it also comes down to like, can you control us though? You know
I know,
what I
that's
mean?
that's always
Like-
a scary thought.
Like, is it because there
Because
must
if
be
the ch- 'cause if
artificial
the chip-
it's artificial intelligence now.
Yeah, because
so-
if that chip is helping whatever
Mhm.
brain activity control, like how you're just saying nerves get
Mhm.
reconnected in a sense, like someone could.
Yeah, that's what makes me nervous. It's kind of like, is this gonna be like Amanda Waller and somebody could like detonate them and your head explodes?
Oh, yeah, huh.
Is it gonna be something where it's like a Meet the Robinsons type of thing, where it's like the hat taking control? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool, but it's also very terrifying because, we're advancing, but with artificial intelligence, they're gonna advance faster than we can.
Mm-hmm.
So, not gonna lie, like, we're not gonna be here, like, in the future. It's gonna be robots. There's, like, no doubt about it.
True.
It's like, no way.
2016, someone on r/ask Reddit asked about the creepiest things on the internet. In response to this, a user named Jess248 posted a link to the original Poorly Planned Comics website and also shared a personal anecdote about Jack, stating, "Might not be the creepiest, but I can handle a lot of disturbing things. This one got to me. A childhood friend of my husband's. The guy was insanely brilliant, literally. Husband lost touch over the years. These were his comics. The very last one was his self-assassination note. They had the memorial at his condo. He had blocked out all the windows and wrote in Sharpie all over the walls."
Sorry, it's not funny, but that was just like a interesting ad lib.
Oh, self-assassination note?
Yeah, like usually like people might just say like what, like
Unalive.
yeah, or something like that, or like self-immolate. I think that's another one people use, right? Or no?
What's that?
I believe so, right?
But what's emulate?
Emulate. I don't know.
Was his breakdown, trying to find meaning before he took his life. One of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen. And while everything that I've covered so far might seem like a lot, it's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the amount of comics, emails, and videos Jack left behind. Not to mention things that aren't explicitly stated in his work, like his obsession with the 1985 book called Maze. Maybe one day, people on the internet will finally comb through everything and complete Jack's story.
It's sad.
Jack froze emails. In November of 2011, Tim Hart was sitting on his couch surfing the web on his laptop when out of nowhere he received a mysterious email that left him in complete disbelief. The email read, "I'm watching. Did you hear me? I'm at your house. Clean your attic." Now, receiving an email like this would make most people think that they were either the...
Nope.
Thoughts? Oh yeah, you have an attic, right?
Nope.
Don't you? You have an attic, right?
Yeah, but remember you wanted to go to your parents' attic and
We're
go
still
up
doing
there?
that.
Nope.
That's an idea we're gonna do soon. We're gonna investigate, or I don't even know if it's investigate. It's just random. We're gonna go, because my parents live in an older house. They did they added an addition to it, so it's like newer in the second floor. But the bottom part's like my grandpa's old house, pretty much, and it's like a 60-year-old attic. We don't even really go up there. Maybe even older than that. Actually, like 80-year-old.
Wait, back up. The attic that you want to go in at your parents' house isn't an attic upstairs in the add-on to the house. It's the attic downstairs.
Yeah, above my grandpa's old room. There's like the
No.
I'm gonna go in there. You just have to film from like.
I'm gonna film
the
from.
ladder.
Get your dad's video camera stuff, like the link, and I'll screen record from outside. I'll just be like, "You're doing good, babe." Like on the mic, I'll be like, "You're doing good. How's it going?"
You're just
out there?
you're just commentating on all my actions in there.
Yeah.
That's funny.
The target of a prank or had a stalker lurking nearby. But for Tim, both of these possibilities were completely out of the question because the email came from his friend Jack Froze, who had died about 5 months earlier. What made this particularly convincing was the bit about cleaning the attic. Just weeks before Jack's death, he visited Tim's attic and they joked about what a mess it was. And while Tim was still trying to figure things out, Jack's cousin, Jimmy McGraw, also received an email from Jack a few days later. However, this one was even more mysterious than the last one, reading, "Hey Jim, how you doing? I knew you were gonna break your ankle, tried to warn you. Gotta be careful. Tell Rock for me. Great song, huh? You're welcome." Couldn't get through to him, his email didn't work. Now, the simplest explanation for these emails is that Jack had scheduled them to be sent before he passed away. However, this theory has two major flaws. You see, Jack died of heart arrhythmia, a condition where electrical signals that tell the heart to beat don't work properly. This happens mostly out of nowhere, and there's no reliable way to predict this ahead of time. In other words, Jack had no way of knowing that he was going to die, which would have prompted him to schedule these emails. Secondly, while it can't explain the email Tim received since the two talked about his dirty attic before Jack's death, there's no way to rationalize the email Jimmy received. He sprained his ankle about 2 weeks before receiving the email, which was nearly 5 months after Jack's death. So, unless Jack had the superpower of future sight, he couldn't have possibly predicted such an unlikely event for his scheduled email.
It could be someone who knows them personally, just like maybe doesn't hang out with them anymore. Maybe they just seen on Facebook they posted their friend passed away and stuff, and I don't know, doing some cruel prank.
But they have his email and all that, like his password and everything.
Well, no, maybe they just made a email. They didn't say it was his email, right? Because they just said the email's from a Jack Frost, and they didn't say it was his like. If it was his old email address, then that'd be pretty crazy.
Okay,
but
somebody did that to me, and like my best friend passed, and like somebody was emailing me. I would do whatever I could to try to see who, like, what the address was that sent that to me. You know, like the IP address usually gives you like the coordinates, right? How's that work?
I think so. Yeah.
I'd be like, I need that bitch or asshole's house right now because I'm gonna go beat their ass. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, ew, you're gross, bro.
This leads us to the second theory, one that the recipients themselves preferred to believe, that this was Jack's reaching out to them one last time from beyond the grave.
I would like to say Jack sent it, just because I look at it as he's gone, but he's still trying to connect with me and still trying to tell me things to move along and feel better.
However, while it's comforting to imagine that those who have left this world can still watch over their loved ones, this is by far the least likely explanation for these emails. Especially compared to the possibility that someone close to both Tim and Jimmy had access to...
He's like, I know you want to feel that way, but
this is reality. So let me just tell you. Let me break it down. That's messed
But
up.
it's kind of true though. But yeah, it does sound kind
Just
of...
let me have that.
This
Oh
also
my
explains
God.
the inclusion of recent events like Jimmy's ankle injury in the emails. Another thing I noticed while looking into this incident is that Jack's name is spelled incorrectly in the signature of both emails. It should be F-R-O-E-S-E, not F-O-R-S-E. If Jack was the one who
The
wrote
other one
these
was spelled
emails,
right.
either before or after his death somehow, then why would he spell his own name incorrectly, twice? Ultimately, Tim and Jimmy had a real shot at finding the real sender if they really wanted to. But now, 13 years later, there's little hope we'll ever learn the truth. Grateful Doe Hitchhiker. On June 26, 1995, at around 1:30 p.m., Virginia State Police responded to the report of a car crash near the small town of Emporia, Virginia. The Volkswagen Vanagon involved in the incident was completely wrecked from the front due to a collision with roadside trees.
It's a nice van.
And
dude.
since neither of the two passengers were wearing a seatbelt, both of them were partially ejected from the front windshield and were deceased by the time police arrived. One of the victims of this crash was quickly identified as 21-year-old Michael Hager, a student at the University of South Carolina. However, every effort to identify the second guy proved entirely fruitless. His face was heavily disfigured during the crash, and he didn't have an ID on him either. Police were also unable to find any matching fingerprints in their database. Michael's family also had no idea who the second person was. Curiously, both Michael and this unknown person were wearing the same tie-dye t-shirt with the logo of the Grateful Dead rock band. After searching the bodies, police found 2 disheveled tickets for the Grateful Dead concert that took place a day prior in DC. They also found a handwritten note which stated, "Jason, sorry we had to go. See you around. Call me. Caroline T and Caroline O. Bye." Further investigation led to the conclusion that this unknown writer was simply hitchhiking. The two likely met at the concert and became friends. As for the crash, the police determined that it was simply caused by the driver falling asleep at the wheel. But that wasn't all. The only 2 things police knew about the unidentifiable man were that he was a fan of the Grateful Dead and that his name was likely Jason, as was written on the note. Jason was declared as John Doe, which is a name given to a person whose real name is unknown. And due to the Grateful Dead shirt he was wearing, Jason became known as the Grateful Doe. However, they were unable to find any more information on him, and the case was closed after some time. That is until 2012, when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children published a digital recreation of Jason's face. This attracted the attention of internet detectives who became interested in identifying this person some 17 years after the original incident. A notable person who got involved in the case was the Reddit user Zombie Gray. Zombie began scouring the internet for any useful information they could find, and also founded a subreddit solely dedicated...
That'd be interesting to like try to solve a mystery. I've always wanted to do that, or like try to at least.
You can. You could buy those ones at the store. They're like the game ones.
No, but for real though, like, obviously, it'd be a lot of work though. But it's crazy
Yeah.
how people were able to find like say the cat killer person. You
Oh,
know.
don't fuck with cats.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I feel like you need to like that's your job. Like you need to be like at home or like retired or
No, yeah. Which a lot
because
of people probably were for that, or like, I guess a redditor or something.
Dedicated to finding the real identity of Jason. Zombie also created this missing person poster of sorts for Jason, which included all of the available information as well as a link to contact Zombie. The poster had a catchy title which read, "Can you help give him back his name?" Surprisingly, this poster went super viral across all social media sites and finally led to a breakthrough. A while after the poster was published, a man named Steve contacted Zombie and claimed that he knew who Jason was. According to Steve, his full name was Jason Callahan. Now the only thing left to find was any living family members of Jason. Fortunately, that didn't take long. In January of 2015, the following was posted after seeing the missing person poster on Facebook. OMG, this is my son Jason Callahan from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've been looking for him all this time with no luck. Today, my other son saw this Facebook page, and after all the years of praying for him to just call me or come home. Apparently, Jason had left his home when he turned 18 and was traveling around the country on his own. All this time, his mother thought that Jason was dodging her calls and simply didn't want to return home. With that, after
that's
2
sad.
decades, one of the most mysterious John Doe cases was solved. Though it is sad to think about his mother who thought that her son was alive, only to learn about his death through the internet 20 years later.
I would not want to
Indianapolis
know that.
Wrecking Ball theft.
I would
In
rather
the
think he just doesn't
1970s,
talk to me.
newspapers in the Indianapolis region reported the most bizarre theft. Someone had apparently stolen an entire wrecking ball without getting caught.
Miley Cyrus.
This became a big mystery at the time, and it's still a mystery today, nearly 50 years later. So, what
How do
happened?
you steal that?
How could something as massive and heavy as a wrecking ball vanish overnight? Before we get to that, it's important to mention that the facts surrounding this mysterious theft are very
It
inconsistent.
must be really fun to
Some
use,
sources
not
claim
gonna
that the
lie.
ball was
I
5
know.
tons and 200 feet in the air. Other sources say that the ball was only half that weight at 2.5 tons.
Still
There's
heavy
also
as
a
shit.
mystery surrounding the date of when this event happened. A newspaper report I found on the incident was from July of 1973. However, a Redditor found the mention of this mystery in a book which listed the date as 1974 instead. This book also listed the weight as 2.5 tons instead of the 5 tons mentioned in the
That's still
newspaper, adding further
5,000
confusion.
pounds.
This might not sound like a big deal, but a difference of 2.5 tons can make a wrecking ball much easier to steal with a truck and a well thought out plan. The bigger question, however, is why? As the 1973 newspaper states, I can't figure out what someone would do with a 5-ton metal ball.
Melt
Well,
it down.
there are a few prevalent theories online. One of these theories speculates that this was the work of a rival company, which is just cartoonishly evil enough to be true. But the thing is, melting the wrecking ball to sell the steel would have been too expensive, and it's highly unlikely that they had a crane lying around to use with the stolen wrecking ball. So, if this theory is true, the only plausible explanation is that they stole the ball to slow down their rival's work and cause financial trouble. This also checks out since, according to the 1973 newspaper article, the ball was stolen during a demolition job. That said, there's also another theory that is also a bit out there, but can make perfect sense if we had more information regarding the finances of the company the ball was stolen from. According to this theory, the company stole its own wrecking ball and hid it somewhere as a form of insurance fraud. Also, while researching this topic, I came across a similar incident that happened in Dallas, Texas in 1978. If the wrecking ball theft in Indianapolis was truly for insurance fraud, maybe a demolition business owner in Dallas saw its success and decided to do the same. Overall, because this happened so long ago and there's very inconsistent information on it, we'll likely never know what happened to this disappearing wrecking ball.
That one's kind of weak, but it is. I guess it is interesting. Yeah,
Oh, my wrist.
that was alright though. I really liked or not that I really liked it, but the one that was creepy was the Jack Frost emails. You know.
Oh, I was gonna say the comic.
Oh yeah, that one's really sad though. But the Jack Frost is kind of mysterious, so it's like who's emailing them. It could obviously be a troll,
Could have
but you
just
know.
been true.
But yeah. All right, guess that's it. See you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.